All right.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. We are here as promised with Omar, my real estate entrepreneur. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good, Michael. How are you?
I'm doing well. We're recording this a little bit later because you were traveling back from Lake Havasu. You were enjoying the weekend with the family, having a good time, probably checking in on your luxury Airbnbs. How was the drive? How was the weekend?
It was great. It was a long Memorial Day weekend. It was cool.
Yeah.
Wanted to make sure that the properties were all good, and we went out there, took the boat out, and had a good time.
So you got wet. You got in the water.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, hey, one of the things I know you are working on, and you've been so gracious to step up and want to add content to my course, How to Get Started One Rental at a Time, is you're creating content around luxury Airbnbs. That is something you have in Lake Havasu. I consider luxury Airbnbs, anything, around water, maybe around, views, just kind of not just your standard, 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. There's these
Right.
other amenities. And I think there's other considerations, right? Typically they're farther away, they're a vacation spot, right? That's not a big city. It's not other things. So I thought we should tease people with what you're creating, what you're putting together. It, hopefully will be there sometime in late June. But let's tell them what you're working on.
Working on something for you guys and with Michael here, and we're just going to go over the Airbnb aspect of it to, what's it going to take to get your first one,
Mm-hmm.
And what kind of things that you're going to be expecting, to run into, and how many times you're going to have to go through it until you find something or a team that's going to work to make sure it's all, a moving wheel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the key. That's like literally the key of success for this business.
You mean it's not just looking at Google Street Views and going, wow, that's awesome, and just doing that?
Not at all.
I digress. I kid. I kid. But there's all kinds of things to think about. And again, the fact that I have experts adding content that I know nothing about is so awesome. So thank you. Are you going to talk about kind of, how you stepped in and why you're doing what I call luxury Airbnbs? They're just different, right? I'm guessing they have seasons. I'm guessing there's a premium rate. I'm guessing your amenities, right? The stuff you have to add to the house are different. There's just lots of considerations, I think, when you're thinking luxury Airbnb.
Yeah, there is. It's not just, I should say, it's not a motel.
Right.
It's more of a hotel with more amenities and a pool and this, that, and the other. I mean, when you have all these things, you can charge more.
Mm-hmm.
It's more desirable. I mean, if you're going to do it, then play the game and do it right the first time. But not because, since I don't know anything else about regular Airbnb without the luxury aspect of it,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what kind of return there is for those.
Right.
So just disclaimer,
Sure.
the ones I do have all have pools, all have boat deep garages,
Yep.
all have RV access. They're all 3 bedrooms, 2 baths plus.
Right.
So that's a lot more like if you're going to go somewhere and you want all the amenities, you're going to pay a little bit more for it. So
Yeah, people are bringing their toys. I mean, they are going, right? And that's actually something I was so happy you were going to do this, because when I read articles from the CEO of Airbnb, he is clearly highlighting longer stays. Like if you're going to go to a luxury spot, one of yours, and you bring the RV and you bring the boat, you're not going for 4 days. I mean, maybe, but usually it's a week, 2 weeks, maybe even 30 days. Because again, what the CEO of Airbnb is saying is longer stays in kind of unique getaways are what is hot.
yes, yeah. I mean, your price per night goes up, your average goes up, 4, 5, 6 nights, depending on the weekends too. I mean, there's a lot of people that check in Thursday, leave Monday, or check in Thursday, leave Sunday. So you have that avenue, but I mean, it's a lot of turn, and I'll explain to you guys later on, the success I had this last weekend in our next episode.
Yeah, again, folks, in episode 2, we're gonna talk about the last weekend. It was Memorial Day weekend. I'm guessing a luxury Airbnb is probably doing okay over Memorial Day weekend. So we'll talk about that next. But really what you're going to get into, right, in this course you're putting together is really the systems and processes, right? Because it's not the pretty house. It's not the amenities. Well, it's some of that. it's some of the bookings and some of that, but it's also check in, check out systems because, you're 3 hours away minimum one way, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like you're just driving by at night going, hey, let me check out my Airbnbs. You have to have
Right.
people there that you trust, lock boxes, all kinds of systems, checks and balances in place, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And that'll be in the course.
Yep.
Awesome. Are you going to put anything in there around how to price or how to research prices or things of that nature?
That is something that I just I just go to as a consumer.
Ah, there you go.
I mean, you'll get the prices because you go to book,
Yeah.
and then you'll see what your total is going to be, and if you want to be competitive,
Mm-hmm.
and just price a little bit lower.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really that simple.
Yeah.
And depend on the demand too. It depends a lot on the demand.
So in Lake Havasu, I have no idea how big it is. Forgive me. How many Airbnbs do you think there are? Is it dozens? Is it hundreds?
No, it's probably hundreds.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably a good 50 to 100, I would say.
And then how many? I mean, is there 10,000 homes? Is it a decent community when it's the weekend? Like last weekend, I had to imagine was just, it's either last week or the 4th of July is just flooded, I'm guessing.
It was completely packed. People were getting some really crazy, per night stays.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of the prices are inflated for sure, as the demand increases, just like everybody knows in this business right now in real estate.
Yeah.
Prices are shot through the roof because of the demand and the supply is so low.
Yeah. So the last thing I'll ask you in this section, number one, is, are you looking to add more? Is this something you've come into and you're like, this is good, I'm going to add more? Because once you get economies of scale, maybe you become the dominant force in Lake Havasu, for example.
Ideally, yes, but it is expensive. So, everybody, and we'll talk about this in the next episode.
Yeah.
It's very, you got to be creative,
Yeah.
and you have to have a good, a team in place. That's all I'm going to say for now, because yes, I'm going to end up scaling some more, just the avenue of the tax benefit for it.
Yeah. Leave it at that. Very cool. Well, I look forward to seeing it. It's something I have no knowledge of. So again, I love learning from other experts. So Omar, thank you very much. I look forward to number 2. Thanks, buddy.
All right.